Hey everyone, it's B-Mac again with Mealtime. It's a nice crisp morning here in Kansas City, Missouri. Today we're smoking a tri-tip. Now, tri-tips are getting more and more popular throughout the Midwest. It originated in California in the 1950s. Originally, they didn't use these cuts because there's only 2 tri-tips on an entire cow, and they would just grind them up into ground beef. Grocery store owner out of California started selling this, found it was a really good cut of meat, and people really enjoyed it. So this cut of meat was cooked like a medium rare steak. It still is to this day a very popular and probably the main way people eat tri-tip. They may smoke it, reverse sear it, and get it to an internal temp about 130, 140. What has become more and more popular, especially as these cuts of meat have become more prevalent in the Midwest, is people cook them brisket style. That's the strategy we're gonna do today. So we're gonna cook it very low and slow. We're gonna take good care of this meat. We want it to retain all its moisture, but we're gonna get it very tender. I really like the tri-tip because it's the best of both worlds. It reminds me of a direct cross between a brisket and a steak. And I love both those things, and I'm guessing you do too. So it's a really good cut to eat. The weight is usually between 1.5 and 4 pounds. So instead of investing in a giant brisket, this is something that you can feed just your family or just yourself for a couple days without having to cook an entire big brisket. So when you're buying a tri-tip, you do want to look for choice grade or higher. If you see a select grade tri-tip, it might not be good enough quality to really render down and be the product you want off the smoker. In general, you should be able to find tri-tip between $6 and $10 a pound. I got this one on sale. It was originally $9.50. It was down at $5.99 a pound. Mine is coming in at 3.7 pounds. It's one of the bigger tri-tips I've cooked, but luckily there's a new meat market in town, Fairway, that's come in, and they had a variety of options that I'm not used to, so I was excited to give a bigger tri-tip a try. Normally you can probably find these on sale from time to time at your normal grocery store throughout the Midwest. You're definitely going to be able to find this on the West Coast. Sometimes it's called the California cut. I've never seen this, but I read online that in the East Coast it may be called the Newport cut, so you can look. But normally I think these days it is called the tri-tip cut. It is located basically at the bottom part of the sirloin, so it's basically attached to that bottom sirloin of the back part of the cow, and that's why it gives such a nice, meaty, steaky flavor. The other thing I like about the tri-tip is that it's very lean, but it has really good marbling throughout the meat itself, and that's why it lends itself to such a great smoke, where all that marbling fat renders down. It gets really tender, really smoky, and really tasty. So we're gonna unwrap our tri-tip. Now I saw from the butcher here, sometimes the tri-tips will have a bit of a bigger fat cap on it that you might have to remove. I do believe when I saw them remove this from the case that ours today isn't too bad. Oh, that is a great looking piece of meat. So you can see the fat cap here is on top, very lean on the backside. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna remove a lot of this fat right here. We will go ahead, rub it up all around, and be able to throw it on our smoker. All you need to do here is you can see this fat comes off very easily. It actually comes off a lot easier than a brisket. So you just need to pull it back, and just like a piece of fish, you're just gonna pull it, cut it, and see how it just pulls right up very easily. Honestly, this looks pretty good. So we removed that main fat cap, and we're gonna be good to go. We got our tri-tip trimmed up, ready for our rub. Probably any barbecue rub will work. However, I've selected today this hardcore carnivore. It lends itself really well to steak. It's a really dark rub. It's gonna give us that really good crust on the smoker we're looking for. So in selecting a barbecue rub, try to get something with a lot of pepper, really dark, because it's gonna really get with that beef flavor on the smoker and get a nice dark crust for slicing. You do wanna liberally rub completely on all sides. I'm gonna roll it around to make sure I don't lose any, and I'm just gonna let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes to let that rub get into the meat. We're down to the smoker. I got my Traeger running at 215 degrees. If you own a Traeger, I have the super smoke option working, get a little extra smoke today. We wanna have a temperature between 200 degrees and 225 degrees. We're gonna put it on the smoker today for 6 hours to get a nice dark crust. The meat's been smoking for 6 hours. We got a really nice bark on it, a really nice crust. Right now the temperature is reading 151 degrees. We're now looking for an internal temp of 190 degrees. We're gonna wrap it in our butcher paper with some butter, a little bit of brown sugar, and a few splashes of Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna wrap it back up and put it in the smoker. If you don't have any butcher paper, aluminum foil is perfectly fine. Had the tri-tip slow smoking all day, watched some college football. Now here we are, right before dinner time, and this tri-tip hit 190. I let it rest for 30 minutes off the grill, and now we're gonna slice it up and get to eating. Oh man, oh that looks good. All right, we're ready to cut our tri-tip. What we're gonna do, we're gonna cut it right in half because we wanna cut it against the grain. So we're gonna cut it right here. We're gonna cut it this way, then we're gonna cut against the grain this way, and we're gonna be ready to eat. Oh, so tender. That way that meat has just bounced, rendered, all that fat going. That's just, you can just tell how tender this is gonna be. I am pumped. That rub comes through so good. The Worcestershire sauce that we wrapped it in is an amazing addition. It is tender. It's like a steak brisket. If you've never had tri-tip, go buy yourself one and give this recipe a go. You will not be disappointed. If you liked what you saw, please give this video a like and give it a subscription. Give me a comment below on what you liked about this recipe and any other recipes you want to see from me. It's mealtime, I'm hungry, and we'll see you next time.